Today on the Hopefulist, anxiety. It's serious and how we can make it better. I missed National Grouch Day and gearing up for rainy day activities.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Good morning and happy hump day. Wednesday already, October 16th, 2019. It is day 34. I've got to get on Ellen. Come on, Ellen. Do me a solid. Help a girl out. Bring her and her cute dog on your show. Everyone will love it. So, like I said, it is the middle of October now. We are in the middle of the week. It is a nice, crisp, cool, kind of cold day here already at the Jersey Shore. I did drag my butt to the gym yesterday. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of myself, too. Feeling a little sore today in the leg area, as that is what I focused on. But as I was sitting at the light to turn off my road to get to the gym, it was a little chilly, and it occurred to me, I've got my seat warmers. So yesterday was the first time I put my seat warmers on. I have used them in Joe's car. He did the same thing as me a couple weeks back. He was like, whoa, seat warmers, let's turn them on. So, yeah, they come in handy. I really do love my seat warmers. So, what I apparently missed yesterday was National Grouch Day. Did you feel a bit grumpy? Apparently my husband did. He said he was feeling all grouchy and grumpy all day. He didn't bring it home with him, thank goodness. Since I missed National Grouch Day, I think I'm going to make up for it today. I'm feeling a little grumpy myself. Trying to push through it. Going to push through it. Wednesday, it's hump day. It's a great day. We're going to see a little rain here. That's okay. We're going to talk about some of your favorite things to do on a rainy day. And I have to tell you, some of you guys have made it seem so romantic and so enjoyable. I can't wait for the rainy day to start. Because it's not going to start till a little later than I had thought. And then we're having my favorite windy condition. Yay! They're going to have high winds starting tonight until, I think, 10 o'clock tonight until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening with wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour. Ugh. I do not like the wind. It is not my friend. But what are you going to do? I live in a very windy area, and I just have to deal with it. So since today is going to be a rainy day, I wanted to know from you, what is it that you like to do on a rainy day if you don't have to go to work? Jim says, I like to stay home. Megan says, if I'm solo, I catch up on shows. Always a good option. Laurie says, my favorite rainy day, a fire, a book, and good smells from the kitchen. Doesn't she make that sound so awesome? I want to figure out something to whip up. Linda says, I usually whip up a pot of soup, then settle on the couch with a blanket, fire, and movies. You know, that's what I want to whip up, a pot of soup, so I can smell it all day long. Except one problem, I don't make soup. If I made soup, it would take 2 minutes in the microwave and it would be gone. I wouldn't be able to enjoy the smells. Diane says, read a book and relax. Marcy says, take a nap. Michelle says, I love to hunker down with a good book and listen to the rain. I don't mind the rain so much. It's the thunder, lightning, and wind I don't like. Kathy says, catch up on things around the house, cleaning bills, etc., then reward myself with a good book or movie on the couch later. Jane says, grab a coffee, put on sweats and a tea. Bra is optional. And binge watch Netflix or SVU. Joe says, binge watch and a nap. All right, I might do any and all of those today because the rain is coming in. And I'm not going to force myself to go to the gym today because I went to the gym yesterday. I'm going to start stepping up my gym game a little bit as the fall continues. I didn't do any cardio yesterday because I convinced myself that I was going to go for a bike ride when I got home. I did not go for a bike ride. No. Still making promises to myself that I'm not keeping. I've got to work on that. We need to keep our promises to ourselves. So maybe I should just start doing cardio at the gym. I kind of started a new time routine with the gym. Before I was trying to go before I recorded the show, which wasn't really working out, just for the fact that I needed a little more time at the gym, especially if I'm going to start doing cardio there. So now I've decided as soon as the podcast is done, I'm going to get into my gym clothes and get out the door. And that is what I did yesterday, and that is what my plan is going to be moving forward. So that way I have plenty of time to get my podcast done, to get everything done that I need to get done, and heading to the gym at 7 a.m. is still pretty good. Not that many people there at 7 a.m. A little more than at 5 a.m., but that's okay. So what else did I want to talk about? Okay, so I did the topic already because I wanted to move right on to this article. I posted this yesterday in the group page, kind of as a preview. I found this article right before I went on vacation, and I loved it so much that I wanted to make sure to save it so that I could go over it and talk a little bit about anxiety because it's something that I have struggled with. There is an article from Thought Catalog that says, anxiety is not a choice, so please stop telling us to chill. Many people think that individuals with anxiety or depression can wake up one day and decide to just get better. That we can wake up one day and decide to smile, chug coffee, and deal with it. Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but anxiety isn't something that we can just turn off. Anxiety isn't something that we can choose to have on a Monday and choose not to have on a Sunday. Anxiety isn't a decision. It isn't a voluntary thing that we want to have in our lives day in and day out. Some days we are free from it. We think we are in the clear, and maybe, just maybe, it will be gone for good. But it creeps up when we aren't looking. It shows up in the darkest corners of our minds. It jumps out in front of us right when we are getting comfortable. It shocks us to the core over and over again without any warning. So we can't just choose to be happy. We can't just chill out or smoke a joint and relax. Anxiety doesn't have a pause button on our minds. Depression doesn't have a shut-off button on our brains. And they most definitely do not have eject buttons. By telling us to just relax or chill, you are downplaying our illness. You are downplaying the significance it has on our daily lives. You are saying that anxiety is not something to take seriously, that it's not a real illness, that it's not something to truly worry about. Would you tell someone with a broken leg to stop overreacting and to just keep walking? Would you tell someone with cancer to just smile and to let it go? Would you tell someone with MS or chronic pain to just relax and stop being so dramatic? It's doubtful. So please, stop telling us to smile when we don't know how. Stop telling us to turn on upbeat music and choose to be happy. Stop telling us that we have nothing to worry about when that is all we know how to do. Stop judging how we feel when you have no idea what we are going through. You will never know how we feel unless you spend a day in our shoes and a day in our minds. You will never know what we go through inside our brains every second of the day. You will never know how it feels to be plagued with a dark cloud that follows you around all the time. And you will never know how it feels to fear for your life, to constantly be in a panic, and to constantly be filled with what-ifs. So before you try to make us feel better by telling us to chill, please remember that anxiety is a mental illness. That is. Depression is a mental illness. It's not an outlook on life. It's not a stage we're going to get out of, and not a cry for attention. Believe me, if we wanted to, we would relax. We would chill. We would stop our thoughts from entering dangerous territory. And believe me, we would take a chill pill if we could. If we had the ability to, we would do it as fast as we could. Now, I'm going to get a little bit more into it with my blog post, but I was reading a book called The 5-Second Rule. And in it, she talks about how she had panic attacks. And she explains the difference between normal jolts, say, like when you're about to get into an accident, you kind of panic and your heart races and your mind kind of goes a little bit crazy. And you're like, whoa, that car almost missed me. Yeah, that is something that is normal and that everybody goes through. What she is describing, Mel Robbins, but the 5-second rule, she goes on to describe that when you have a panic attack, it comes out of nowhere. Often when you're making a cup of coffee or just making the beds in the morning, and this anxiety and panic gives you the same kind of physical ailments that the almost getting hit by a car does. The difference, she says, is when your body is reacting that way after you almost get hit by a car, your brain is searching for the reason why. And as soon as the brain figures out, oh, she almost got hit by a car, she's okay, I'm going to calm everything down now. However, when you're having a panic attack and you have no idea why your body is having these symptoms, why your heart is starting to race, why you're having trouble breathing, your brain can't figure out why it's happening either. So it senses it as fear and senses it as danger. So it stays in that mode because it has no explanation as to why it's happening. I hope I explained that good enough. So it makes sense that these panic attacks would be very debilitating. I have not had panic attacks that I know of, and I think I would know. So I'm very grateful for that. But I have had anxiety, and I think I've had it for a very long time. And I just either didn't recognize it, refused to admit it, or just was, blissfully ignorant. So, like I said, I think I've had it for many years without realizing it. I knew I was uptight. I knew I took things too seriously, and I did think that people were always trying to get one over on me. I felt disrespected all the time. I was mad all the time. I felt like I couldn't do anything right, and so much of what happened to me was unfair. I really felt like I had more knocks against me than most people. Now, the second time I decided to go into therapy, I was hoping to tackle some issues with my mom, but mostly I was stressed out at work. The new therapist I had told me within 15 minutes that you've got social anxiety. I thought to myself, social anxiety? I'm not anxious when I'm around other people. But here's what I did do. When I got home after hanging out with friends, I would go over every conversation in my head and wonder if I said something that had offended someone. If I thought that I had, then I would ruminate over it for days, sometimes weeks. I would go back and apologize for it. My friend would usually say, I don't even remember what you're talking about. And when it came to people I already had issues with, I would make up scenarios in my head of how things could spiral out of control. Confrontations before anything even happened. I guess it was my way of bracing for it, for making sure I was prepared and ready to react when the shit hit the fan. Obviously, this caused a lot of stress. I had numerous sessions with my new therapist, and she kept suggesting I go on an anti-anxiety medication. I was very anti-medication most of my life. I didn't believe you should pop a pill to make your life better. We all have our ups and downs, and you just have to roll with them. I apologize to anybody I have ever offended with that attitude. I really, truly do. I was feeling a lot of stress at work. I was working myself into a frenzy on a regular